I'm gonna show some things, Josh will show some things. Last year we tried to keep everything really connected, gi or no gi. I'm gonna kind of be more specific to like the no gi version when I do no gi stuff, but they're not gonna be as connected as in terms of what I'm gonna show for the pass. But I wanna talk about, so in my classes right now, what we're talking about is like how challenging it is to pass right from here, which would be like a complete disengagement, open guard, no grips, right? That can be challenging for me to try and pass because maybe I think I have to step in just to pass, and this gives Josh the opportunity to establish a guard, right? Or maybe you're thinking, I have no grips, maybe I should just try to pass right away. So some of my white belts, lay down, some of my white belts would just try to go like, here like this. And it's like, I think with the disengagement, it's not gonna be as realistic, it's gonna be harder, right? How we should see something like that, give me a grip up here, right? Is that if we broke this all down and we were on the outside, that engagement takes place a lot smoother because you're creating the position rather than just kind of breaking it down and being here. Does that make sense, right? So I'm gonna talk about like trying to not disengage all the way out and then letting go and coming back in and creating like a power knee cut and some other situations from here, right? So let's say like at a minimum, you want to try and not like get outside of the feet if you want to pass on the inside. So if you're a knee cutter, no matter what guard you're in, you should be staying in between the legs, back step, long step, whatever it may be. If we want a leg drag or Toriander, we're going to go all the way out. So we're going to do both, okay? So the first version is just going to be a knee cut. So I'll let you pick the guard for the person on bottom. We're going to neutralize it to a certain point. We're not going to get outside of their feet, and we're going to put our hands in a position for a power knee cut. So for those of you who want to use the lapel, you could. Those of you who want to underhook real hard, we're going to put our hand on the ribs. For those of you who want to keep your hand kind of like your elbow, like your frame on their hip, you can do that too. I'm going to put my hand there and I'll show you a couple of different versions, whatever it may be. So I'll do Deli Hiva just because I don't have any other guard, right? So all I'm going to do here, I'm not going to break this collar grip because I'm going to keep it neutralized so I don't have to fight it later. So you're going to see me kind of take a baby step. I'm going to jam. I'm going to posture up really hard here. From here, I'm just going to push the legs down and then step. But what I'm going to do is bring my knee in to turn this top leg away to start sitting on top of his shin here. My hand's going to come off of the shin. That's a Deli Hiva hook. I'm going to place it right on his hip here. So I keep my elbow on the inside. And now this is going to be a linear move, okay? He doesn't have the pants, so I'm not worried about being caught up in the material here, okay? And this hand's not gonna stop me from going for a crossface or a collar grip. If you want, you can do that. So the key here is a linear movement, and I'm gonna jam this underhook as I hit into that position, okay? Now I know that he's gonna have the capability of hip escaping, which I'm okay with, and I'm gonna have this underhook and I have the lapel. But what I'm gonna do first is as I hit my hip, I'm gonna rewind in to turn his hips away to be on this side. So now I know that if Josh wants to work to try and hip escape and frame, he's got a lot more to go from, and it's gonna be easier to pick him up onto his side, step around, top spin, or whatever it is. If you don't do that rewind and you're just here, it's gonna be really hard to try and stop Josh because of the position that he's in and my weight's on the mat instead of being on him, if that makes sense, okay? So again, my reference point is Deli Hiva. Yours could be anything. I'll do like spider and stuff too if you want to, right? So I'm not breaking that grip, I'm just neutralizing, stepping, bringing this knee in to drive to change the angle here. From here you can go lapel, hand on the hip. I'm gonna hit this linear movement very quick to jam into this position. From here I can fall, rewind the hip, that's the key there. And then from there it's gonna be easy to stabilize, okay? So some other examples. Go like spider. Do whatever one you want, yeah. So whatever example would be here, right? So I'd go like this, pummel my hand, I'd break that grip. I'd go inside, pummel, and then hit again, right? So all I would do is regardless of the guard that's being picked, as I get to that same like head quarter-like position, lapel and underhook, and then from there I'm basically making sure I rewind his hips. Does that make sense? What we don't want to do, and what I'm discussing, is like get all the way out just to try to come back into the knee cut again. I think it's going to be not nearly as efficient. That makes sense, everybody, right? So take your time with this. This is going to be a power knee cut, which means my underhook is going to be there. My knee is out. If you want your foot in there, you can, but you got to be able to hit that and rewind the hips right away. Does that make sense, everybody? You're picking the guard for the person on bottom and their grips. We're not training, we're not resisting, we're not fighting. We're just getting quality reps, 3 or 4, then switch. Got it?